Yeah, I who Narada of the great sage Narada, Vachaha of the instructions, Tathya, the truth, Na, not, Agratisham, would accept, Asattamaha, the most wretched. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We'll say the prayers first, then we'll begin. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadvitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vaneshwari Vrishabhan Sute Devi Dhanamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kapa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarina Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada teacher. Since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary systems will have to come down again, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of sage Narada. Wow. Once again, translation. Since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary system will have to come down again, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of sage Narada. Who is speaking to whom here? Dhruv Maharaj?
Dhruv Maharaj is like
He's thinking.
of that. He's regretting that. Without of that, he
So after Vishnu left, he's thinking to himself. He's thinking for himself. As shown by many instances in the Vedic literature, when a person undergoes severe austerities, the demigods become very much perturbed because they are always afraid of losing their posts as the predominating deities of the heavenly planets. It is known to them that their position in the higher planetary system is impermanent, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, Shune Punne Martya Lokam Vishanti. It is said in the Gita that after exhausting the results of their pious activities, all the demigods who are inhabitants of the higher planetary system have to come back again to this earth. It is a fact that the demigods control the different activities of the limbs of our bodies. Actually, we are not free even in moving our eyelids. Everything is controlled by them. Dhruva Maharaj's conclusion is that these demigods, being envious of his superior position in devotional service, conspired against him to pollute his intelligence. And thus, although he was a disciple of a great Vaishnava, Narada Muni, he could not accept Narada's valid instructions. Now, Dhruva Maharaj regretted very much that he had neglected these instructions. Narada Muni had asked him, "Why should you bother about insult or adoration from your stepmother?" He, of course, said to Dhruva Maharaj that since Dhruva was only a child, what did he have to do with such insult or adoration? But Dhruva Maharaj was determined to achieve the benediction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, Narada advised him to go back home for the time being, and in mature time, he could try to practice devotional service. Dhruva Maharaj regretted that he had rejected the advice of Narada Muni and was adamant in asking him for something perishable, namely revenge against his stepmother for her insult and possession of the kingdom of his father. Dhruva Maharaj regretted very much that he could not take seriously the instruction of his spiritual master, and that his consciousness was therefore contaminated. Still, the Lord is so merciful that due to Dhruva's execution of devotional service, he offered Dhruva the ultimate Vaishnava code. Interesting. Translation: since all the demigods who are situated in the higher planetary systems will have to come down again, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. These intolerant demigods have dissipated my intelligence, and only for this reason could I not accept the genuine benediction of the instructions of Sage Narada. So I have a question here. Now, Dhruva Maharaj's intelligence was kind of muddied before he attained Vaikuntha Loka. But here, Dhruva Maharaj is thinking, they are all envious of my being elevated to Vaikuntha Loka by devotional service. So they are envious now. But then instructions were given before.
No, they they knew that he would go back to Godhead by accepting instructions. So they they polluted intelligence so that he could not take the instructions of Narada Muni directly, rather that he still maintained that desire. So, so basically, he's saying that they delayed his going back to Vaikuntha Loka. He could have gone, but now he has ruled for so many years at Dhruva Loka. So the previous verses, Dhruva Maharaj is actually lamenting.
But this Indra, when Vasishtha Vishwamitra Muni, when he came as a Chandala, he gave him, he asked for prasad. He cooked and he gave everything to Indra. Then Indra said one sentence. Now, because you came out of your senses, you are out of my jurisdiction. So even Dhruva Maharaj came out of his sense perception, so he will be out of it. Maybe Dhruva Maharaj is saying here, I am like our Vaishnava says, I am very fallen. So maybe I was thinking Dhruva Maharaj in his humility.
He's
Saying like that. So, I don't know.
I think the motive, of course,
So
what he
Indra,
executed was wonderful, but that he is regretting for that motive, that he
Yeah.
had that motive and he did austerity for that.
Maybe demigods are not at all involved in that. But because if demigods were so powerful, when Dhruva Maharaj hold breath, they were struggling. They could have controlled his body, right? At that time, but they couldn't control his body.
Regretting how when Narad Muni came. Now it seems the pure bhakti has blossomed in his heart. So he's saying when Narad Muni, Guru Maharaj told that don't feel that revenge mood. So like insisting that I want the kingdom from the Lord, I want to do the austerity. Instead of that, I could have accepted my Guru Maharaj's instructions not to go into the range, now to do all the austerities to get the Lord.
Mm.
Instead of, I should have just surrendered to my Guru Maharaj, left that revenge back, and completely surrendered to the Lord, and could have got the pure devotional service. So now I'm lamenting because that happened. That's not because of myself, but my senses are somewhat controlled by these demigods. They could have done something to.
And also, before the touching of the conscience, he did not have much intelligence. But once Lord Vishnu touched conscience, then he got all the intelligence. Now he's understanding what are his flaws when he came. Before he did not even realize that it was a flaw, that he uh, uh, did not hear Narad Muni what he said. But now he's understanding because he got all the intelligence. Oh, I have to follow my spiritual master and all. So maybe that is
That's very instructive actually. We also read scriptures and we get so many good instructions. But many times we're not able to follow the instructions of the scriptures. Or we don't like, he got an instruction from Narad Muni. Somehow he was like, fine. And he continued with his thought process. He didn't change his thought process based on what instructions he received. Likewise, we also like, we read
Everything
scriptures.
is fine. What?
Ah.
Let me do this.
uh,
So then it follows.
we continue our mode of life or our whatever attachments we have, we continue in spite of following what scriptures have said. So that's because our intelligence is muddied in a way. Another thing we also see is this thing of being envious. Ideally, we should not, as much as possible, you want to become everybody's well-wisher. Or not being envious means by seeing others progress, I'm happy. I think this is a very like one lecture I heard. This was Radha Maharaj says Vaishnava means no envy. Envy is there, but then can we cultivate non-envious? Cultivating non-envious means when somebody is progressing, especially spiritual life, when somebody is progressing, then we want to become joyful by somebody else's progress. And actually, when we have attachment, our attachments makes us insecure because we have fear of losing our attachments. And here we see Indra, why he muddies Dhruva Maharaj or somebody else's intelligence. Because he's attached to his position. And whenever he feels a threat of my attachment is going away, then see Krishna. Krishna is wonderful. We all know that. What Krishna will do is Krishna will try to take away our attachments. And what we may want to do is we may want to hold on to them to take away. And we want to hold on to them. But best is if Krishna is trying to take away our attachments, our mood should be
Take it.
take it. But here, otherwise, if to the extent we are attached, we become insecure, and then we try to take measures or try to speak or try to act in a way that my attachments may remain or continue. That's one of the opulence of Krishna's renunciation. And Krishna will slowly take away our attachment. Just need to let them go. And Dhruv Maharaj here is also lamenting. Dhruv Maharaj here is lamenting um, his anger towards his stepmother. He's lamenting why I maintain that anger. And sometimes we may also have anger towards somebody, and we may knowingly, unknowingly maintain it. it is our duty. I mean, actually, we are living with a particular consciousness. We need a higher consciousness in order to rectify our current consciousness. I think one time Yuval Kishore Prabhuji mentioned, I think, quoting Mark Twain or somebody, Prabhuji quoted that we cannot solve the problem with the consciousness that created the problem. We cannot solve the problem with the same consciousness that created the problem. So likewise, we have a particular consciousness and we will work only in that frequency, our thought process, our disturbance, criticism, anger. We will see everything from our current state of consciousness. But the higher consciousness is when we receive higher consciousness from the medium of Guru, from the medium of Shastra, from the medium of Vaishnava, then that become an impetus for us to rectify. That is why it is very, very important to um, associate with Shastra, Guru, Sadhus. Our progress in Krishna consciousness, our absorption in the holy name, everything is based on our consciousness. And Krishna, either as Paramatma or through Vaishnavas, is always helping us um, to show our pitfalls. It is our responsibility to maybe work on, like Krishna will reveal, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra will reveal where things are going wrong or what I need to work on. And then we have the free will to either let those go or we have the free will to desire to maintain them. And that's where, like Saraswati Thakur says, some people make very quick progress and some people progress is slow. And those who don't want to change based on the instructions that are being given from higher soul, those who don't want to change, Krishna won't do what we don't desire. If we don't want to improve, then Krishna will let us continue with the same consciousness for some longer time. Mercy of Guru and Krishna is the inspiration to see, okay, what do I need to surpass to go to the next stage of my Krishna consciousness? And there comes our free will, there comes our strength. Also, we see that Dhruv Maharaj was lamenting why I had this feeling, why I had this anger. Likewise, when we have anger towards a Vaishnava, towards a devotee, when we have either critical thoughts or anger towards a Vaishnava, those become stumbling block in our pleasing Guru and Krishna. Yes, pure consciousness is not something that we can get by our own effort. It's not something. Um, 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 it is something that is awarded eventually. But at the same time, we want to act in a right consciousness. We want to try, and that's what defines the word sincerity. Okay, I'm being sincere. If I'm being sincere, means I'm working to say no to things which are unfavorable, and I'm able to discriminate. Even though my attachments may be there, I'm still trying to, like how it is said, feed the good dog, not feed the bad dog. These good dog and bad dogs are there. Bad dog is like things which are stumbling blocks. Like Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, attachment and aversion is the stumbling block in the life of a sadhaka. So those are the bad dogs. And good dog is um, uh, basically avoiding the bad dog and directing that energy in serving Krishna. That is a good dog. And it is said, I think it's a Christian proverb. It is said, which both dogs are there within our heart, and which dog wins is based on the dog that we feed the most. Very instructive. We have to see which dog am I feeding. Which dog am I feeding means based on my desire or my activities, which dog am I feeding? And those dogs will howl and become stronger within our heart. And the more we feed them, the more we are maintaining our attachments or unfavorable, or the more, because we feel like um, uh, there is it's illusory actually. There is an illusory sense of comfort. There is an illusory sense of happiness, but it's actually only a disturbance. It feels like something else. And that's why there is so much emphasis on discrimination. This discrimination comes by the effect of our sadhana. Before we take up Krishna consciousness, the consciousness is so muddy, we don't even realize what is right, what is wrong, and we just keep on. We are doing so many wrong things and we don't feel anything about it. But when we become Krishna conscious, the consciousness will start giving us that discrimination power. And then the association of devotees helps us to remain strong with our vows, with our values, principles. And if you see Dhruv Maharaj, he saw the Lord actually. He received the full mercy of the Lord. Still, he was unsatisfied. Likewise, we may also feel maybe some days chanting is good, or we may feel some success somewhere or the other. Like Dhruv Maharaj was like most successful. He saw the Lord. Who sees the Lord in 6 months? He is glorified all over. Still, he was unhappy because he was not satisfied, because he was seeing that fault existed. Likewise, we must also see the pitfalls in our consciousness. And just like we see in case of Dhruva Maharaj, he did not had strength. He didn't have strength to overcome, because he didn't have strength um, to overcome that desire that he had, or he didn't have strength to recognize or to overcome. Likewise, we also feel helpless in front of our um, unwanted habits or desires or whatever they are. We feel helpless in front of them. But then one shelter we have is we can cry in front of the Lord. We can submit it. We can submit or we can pray. That is the step one. Step one is that desire to come out of it. That is the step one. Being insincere means I know this is wrong, but that's fine for now. Maybe fine for a little bit longer. Maybe keep that's fine, that's fine. I want to maintain it. That's like we are not really being sincere. Even though Krishna has given us a discrimination, we don't want to accept it. And that is what is referred here as the intelligence being perturbed or muddied intelligence. Bhakti is very simple, clear instructions. Lot of clarity is given in the Shastra. Um, it's all there. We can see this is black and this is white. To some extent, we can see. Um, and then comes our, okay, how much do I put this into practice? Dhruva Maharaj was lamenting, I have received good instruction, but I did not follow them. Likewise, maybe after 30, 40, 50 years, we may also lament, oh, it was told to me again and again and again. I was hearing, it made sense, but still I hesitated to follow. But in that time, so much time is lost actually. So much time is lost in that duration. With our practice of Krishna consciousness, this discrimination naturally comes. We can see, okay, now I am becoming envious. Now this is there, that is now, anger is there now. All these things are coming up and popping up in my consciousness. We can see that. Krishna Kumar Rao turned upside down the game today. Like, wow, amazing. But then the association of great Vaishnava is so inspiring because we need somebody, when we see somebody who is exhibiting non-enviousness, who is exhibiting humility, who is exhibiting renunciation, when we see somebody living in our life, that is so much hope giving. This association is great. There is one story I heard. I think everybody has heard um, that there was one, I think, one thief, and he saw, like, there was a king. The king wanted to get his daughter married. So this thief was thinking, um, if I marry, and the king sent a news that all the sadhus are invited, and I want to get my daughter married, and half of my kingdom will go to that sadhu. So the thief he saw, and he was like, hey, there's such a shortcut. I'll go in a guise of a sadhu, and when my turn comes, or if I can get married, then my problem is solved. All my lack of wealth, or I'll be so happy. I'll be half of the kingdom. That's wonderful. So he dressed himself in the guise of a sadhu, and then all the sadhus, when he went there, there were many, many sadhus who assembled there. And the king, he called one by one all the sadhus, and all the sadhus said, no, I'm not interested in this, not interested, not interested, not interested. Um, I mean, my energy will go only to serve Krishna and nothing else. And all the sadhus were saying the same thing, same thing, same thing. So initially the thief was becoming very happy. He thought, okay, now I have some good chance. No sadhu is accepting her. Then when his chance come, then he also said, no, I'm not interested. And this is said is the power of association. Because he saw everybody is exhibiting renunciation, he's like, I also don't want it. So having somebody who is living those pridelessness and renunciation, non-enviousness, it's so inspiring. We want to take more and more association of them. We want to worship them. In this world, everyone is like, so that's why. How will somebody improve? Everyone is like that. The greatest service, it is also said in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavatam, everywhere it is said that the greatest service we can do is by setting a glorious example ourselves. When we set a good example, we are, like His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj says, always preach when necessary, speak. Always preach when necessary, speak. Best service is done just by setting a good example, actually. But we fail there, unfortunately. Actually, those who set a good example, na, they command respect. You know, they say there's a difference between commanding respect and demanding respect. Demanding respect, why are you not respecting me? If you don't respect me, I'll become angry at you. Commanding respect means you act in such a way that everybody respects you. When we act in a way that is right consciousness, the whole world will respect. Krishna will make everybody bow down because that person is great. Also, somehow or other, based on this particular verse, we also see somehow or other we should not harbor negativity towards other Vaishnavas. Somehow or other we should not harbor. And the moment we realize that I have some negativity for Vaishnavas, we should not contemplate on that. Like there is an example, one devotee was mentioning. So there is one devotee was mentioning, like basically one devotee does many good things, maybe it's little thing here and there. So I asked the other devotee, what do you feel about that? And the devotee said, Prabhu, it's a small fish. And this is great. Understood? Small fish, small fish.
Small fish.
It's a small fish. Means compared to what they are doing, this is a small fish. And great. It's very pleasing when we see good consciousness. Very pleasing to the heart. So likewise, somehow or other, we must not harbor negativity, anger, criticism toward other Vaishnavas. Lord Kapila says it will obstruct our growth. Associate with great devotees, worship them, pray to them. Actually, our progress depends a lot upon whom we associate with. A lot upon whom we associate. Okay, so it's 9:00. I fulfill my role. The service given to me today. So, are there any discussion? Anybody want to say anything? Or dear Sham Kishore, Prabhu, Krishna, Prabhu, Mataji, anybody want to say something? Add.
Those I had sitting in the circle. So I just wearing like joke, and even if like with association you did not get the like realization, sometimes forcefully also you have to act like that. Everyone is doing like that. How can you one man what someone is coming, so everyone is bowing down, giving full down. So looking at that, even if he doesn't want to do, so forcefully will do.
Amazing point. The environment plays a huge role.
You have to feel it.
We cannot be, we will be influenced by our environment, positively and negatively both. So if we are in a positive environment, it's so encouraging and we'll get done what we don't have strength for.
Ultimately, if you come here, you will conduct
it will be beneficial. Amazing program. Environment, negative environment, even if we are strong, we'll give into it. Positive environment, even if we are weak and we don't have strength, we can still do it. Wow. That's the power of Sangha. Amazing, amazing. Right now, I'm one fallen soul in the assembly of great Vaishnavas.
So, नागपुर में गए थे पहले तो हम 4-5 डिवोटी गए थे, तो उसमें हम 2 लोग थे जो ना मीठा ज्यादा खाते थे साइड में, तो वो कोई तो प्रभु जी तो मीठा ना मीठा ज्यादा मत नहीं खाते, तो जो लोग नहीं खाता वो थोड़ी बोल पाएगा हाँ हमको चलता है। तो मुझे कुछ क्या हुआ कि नहीं, मुझे मैं तो खाता ही नहीं मैं वो कभी कभार थोड़ा एक रसगुल्ला हुआ तो मैं रोज रोज मत कीजिए। तो बाकी केवल एक दो दिन तो गया, फिर वो बोलते रोज आप नहीं खाएंगे लेकिन हम लोग तो खाएंगे, और पहले क्यों मना कर दे रहे हो?
अपने बारे में बोल
जैसे
रहे
हम भी बोल नहीं पा रहे, हम भी बोलते हाँ ठीक है हम भी नहीं खाएंगे।
Great, Prabhu. It's great to be in good association. And that's what we have in this temple. Amazing devotee association. That's great. All glories to all of you. Right pronouns. Okay, sir. कुछ मधुर शब्द कभी कुछ ऐड करना चाहिए? Thank you. Okay, I think we'll end on Zoom. Anybody?
Any question online?
Any question online? Okay. Thank you for joining. Vancha Kalpataru Vaishya, Kritha